Hi Cancer, here is a general look at your solar chart for December 2015 and January 2016. So we're going to whiz through these, but before I go there, I just want to share some astro thoughts with you. Now that last month I was mentioning the Saturn-Neptune transit, how it's affecting us over November, December, and also popping up again at times in 2016. I also mentioned the Uranus-Pluto transit, and I just want to say something else about that now. These two, of course, are behind the general change, meltdown in some cases, huge radical change going on across the globe, culturally, economically, socially, to do with belief systems as well, especially now that Saturn has come into Sagittarius. I'll be saying more about that in the stars for 2016, which are coming out very shortly now. I just want to mention in the first half of December we have Mars in challenging aspect to Uranus. Pluto Mars can be a little bit of a trigger for these two, and tensions that are pushed down beneath the surface inherent in the Uranus-Pluto aspect will emerge, will get pushed up, like tectonic plates, kind of buckling and crunching against each other, and then explosions of sort of like, the tension or the volcanic eruptions, and of course it's for a fleeting time. It's just over the first half of December. Every time Mars comes around into a cardinal sign, the same thing's going to happen. Has done in 2015, will do in 2016, and of course in 2014 and 2017, because the Uranus-Pluto transit, even though it's no longer exact, is going to rumble on for a few more years, and we will see the effects globally of this. And those of us who have been on the planet a long time can really see the distinct and marked changes going on, and just how things are run, and not only that, but how the general tone of the way humans are one with one another, coming more from the mental side, the intellectual side, and far less from the heart side, because of course through the internet and through texting and blogging, and we are using our left brain a huge amount more than just meeting people down the pub. So anyway, that's a whole other subject. I just want to mention Mars coming onto here, triggering these two, might be minor in your life, but I'm just looking at the global sort of situation here. The tension build up could, is always looking like a pressure cooker for a way of release. So this could bring out the harsher side, the manipulative, controlling, unscrupulous side, particularly when Mars and Pluto get together. There's usually sort of underhand dealings going on. Or if it doesn't feel like that, then it can just feel like that one has got one's arm twisted up behind one's back because of some kind of emotional blackmail. Now, of course, we can bring these things on ourselves as well, feeling conscientious and obliged, etc. But just want you to be aware of that. So going back to the worldwide sort of influence of this, you can get an idea by the way of where these are in your natal chart, if you have it, by seeing which house they are in and then looking it up online. There's a plethora of information now online for everything to do with astrology, so just find it online. I'm going to tell you where they are in your sun sign forecast a little bit in a few minutes. So the global effects will involve, again, the banks, the governments, the financial property markets, the establishment, the status quo, and of course there's many in these sorts of positions that don't want the power base to shift, and they are in the habit of steamrollering over our universal freedoms. And of course the internet's going to come up as well, in this sort of way, as well as maybe radio and TV, because of Saturn being in the communication sign as Sagittarius. But So one side will tend to feel sort of outraged and victimized, and the other will seem, that they will not have a conscience. They will see it as their inalienable right to do these things, and will seem quite ruthless and only concerned with maintaining the control that they are used to, because they're trying to balance the books, or they just see it as they know better. And then on the flip side, energy levels can be very, very high with Mars Pluto, I have to say. So in your personal life, if you do have a mountain to climb, if you have a fight on your hands, then under this transit, much can be achieved, and you will possibly win as well, because even though Mars is in a contentious sort of angle with Pluto, it's a sort of energy that you need, which is very stubborn, and it's energy that will dig its heels in and help you. It depends on where Mars Pluto, of course, is in your chart. So for some people this will be minor, for others, and then you'll notice people around you that you know are getting it more strongly because of the degrees. It's always to do with the degrees of these things on a planet or on an important point in the chart. But you'll probably win, but you won't be able to do that without modifying something along the way, without maybe letting go of something and compromising along the way. And you'll have to be canny and intuitive, listen to that gut knowing, as the powers that be, or the controlling faction, whether that's, bosses, teachers, parents, or something even bigger than that, circumstances beyond your control, can feel like it's beyond your ability to do anything about. But this is a great aspect for getting to the bottom of things, digging out the rot, and doing that in whatever way necessary, and then to regenerate, starting with whatever is left to build upon, whether that's in your private life or in across the globe in a bigger sort of a way. And instead of coming from ego, a fear-based mentality, and this is a big ask, because we are in a time of opportunity to shift into a much more expanded, advanced level of consciousness, and this is our invitation. This, we're still in this in this turning point time, and before the whole thing shuts down, if we can't sort of step up to the plate in some way and do things in a more compassionate, refined, elegant sort of way, instead of just shouting and screaming and shooting at each other, then we're going to end up right back where we were before, and then we have got to wait another few thousand years for the other opportunity, the next opportunity to come round again, and that is related to the galactic center. So just thought I'd mention that. And now for the rest of the forecast. So until the 22nd, the sun is in a very practical area. You dealing with niggly. This is a new word, diggling. Okay, I've just coined it. So you were here, you heard it first. What I was trying to say with dealing with more niggly details, or dealing with more niggly details, diggling. So you will be diggling more, and they say the devil is in the detail. So that is also why I said diggling, because there's dealing and details and devil, and you will, you just need to get organized, and that you'll need to get organized physically, maybe health, fitness, materially, with getting things evened out, getting things how you want them to be. Maybe discussions could be revolving more around repairs, maintenance, health, yours or another's, and there will be somebody there to give you practical advice, or you could be the one who's giving the practical advice. You very much be, in that sort of practical interchange with others, more likely, okay, and that's up until the 10th, and then Mercury moves out of there, goes into your opposite sign, again, really sort of in exchange of information very much with others, maybe more on the abstract level from the 10th, although the Sun is still in this very practical mood until the 22nd. The Sun moves out of there on the 22nd and goes on into this area where you could feel more rapport with another, where it's a central theme is close interaction, close relationship. So really, you know, teaming up and getting the best that you can out of a partnership or a close relationship. Maybe it's more than one, you know, and you and another could be feeling more attracted to each other, possibly there as well. Especially from the 5th, when Venus goes into her, gets more light-hearted and goes into a more fun-orientated area. But just to follow along the theme of the Sun, because I'm doing January as well, so the Sun moves out of that area on the 21st of January and goes then into a deeper area for that last week of the month, where you are being more introspective. Mercury had already arrived there at the beginning of the month. You sussing things out, you weighing things up, you evaluating, but it will be to do with according to what another's mood or requirements or regulations are as well. So themes up for discussion or for questioning will be around joint finances, anything lent, borrowed, shared in some sort of a way, joint property, and the like. So there will be more thinking around those things likely from the beginning of January, and this sort of confidential advice going between you and another, maybe intuitive type advice, a sort of deeper questioning going on, research going on. It's a good time for research, actually. Venus, as I mentioned, she kicks off December in a very sort of sociable mood and at the root of your chart, so in a private sort of a way, and it encourages more harmonious time with people in your space or with family members, or to do with making your space more beautiful. And that's been in there for a lot of the previous month, November. Your place could be more of a place where it's like a social hub, you know, where people meet up. You could be more the guest in somebody else's place, but of course with people working from home on the internet now, so it could be quite a sort of social place from where you're located, whether you are physically with others or not. And then from the 5th, Venus moves into a more outgoing, sociable sort of area and boosts your love life in some cases, and you're having more fun with others, connecting with others in a more light-hearted sort of a way. Also, this shines a light on pets and young people, children as well, links there with them, you finding company that you keep, or maybe pursuits which are more creative, very empowering and satisfying. That's more likely. And then in January 2016, Venus is in a more practical mood. There you can link together with somebody, put your heads together with somebody, to do with service providing there, helping you out. Maybe it's therapies, maybe it's to do with health, maybe it's to do with work, but maybe it's to do with somebody helping you to understand a new piece of kit, or how to work something, or how to maintain something, how to repair something. You're helping them. This kind of thing is more likely, but still there's this feeling of linking, connecting with others, you not going it alone there. And then Venus moves for the very last 6 days of the month out into in January, into a very powerful place for Venus, giving a boost to your love life perhaps as well. Now, Mars, I haven't mentioned Mars yet. Mars, for the whole of December, is at the root of your chart. Again, you know, in and around HQ more, but feeling this sort of sociable feel going on. And also, perhaps, as I said earlier, embellishing your space, DIYing could be going on as well. There could be more hustle and bustle right in your backyard, in your sort of local community, or to do with family. But there is this feeling of having to be decisive, having to be assertive and get things done. Could be more coming and going. Skeletons could start rattling in the closet. Somebody could push your buttons, or you could push theirs. So just be aware of that. For some, you know, the parents will be emphasized, particularly on the male line of things. But both of the parental energy is triggered there as well. And then Mars moves out of there in January and goes on into the house of fun, as I tend to call it, which means that these activities which are empowering and satisfying, which Venus was getting interested in from the 5th of December. Mars will pick that up from after the 4th of January, and then there could be I don't know, getting more active with hobbies or leisure pursuits or entertainments or entertaining type activities which you really enjoy, and you find, you know, that even though maybe it's not perfect, you're really enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. And then for both months, Saturn is in Sagittarius, of course, and this for you lights up the area of job, health, yours or somebody else's, day-to-day practical tasks, daily chores, everyday life really, and the practical side of everyday life. And maybe you taking on too much where work is concerned. This is a long transit. It's going to be in there until late December 2017. But you've got to be patient and plug away at something that you're trying to build up on, maybe in the area of work. Generally, it does mean harder work, but I would say try to switch that from, you know, being at your own expense and spreading yourself too thin to just working more smart work. So doing smarter work and using your intelligence, using your common sense to do that work. But having more to do with practical people, co-workers, colleagues, service providers, health providers, therapists, remedies, therapies, practices which are healthy maybe. You Cancerians born the 27th of June to the 3rd of July in December, or with some from 6 to 12 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most. Or those of you born the 2nd to the 6th of July, or 11 to 15 degrees rising in January, going to feel the energy the most. It's a time for you to get organized. And yes, there will be blocks and obstacles in the way, but that just kind of makes you a bit stronger. And these challenges will make you savvy about you know, things, and for the future you realize what the rules of the game are. And you are maybe trying to, you know, work in a different sort of a way, a smarter sort of a way, maybe even with equipment, which you've got to learn about and which goes wrong. And then you've got to kind of pick yourself up off the floor and try to just keep calm, cool, collected, and learn, keep learning. But what you will be learning through maybe setbacks sometimes with Saturn in this area here is to make wiser choices in the future. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Now, Jupiter is in a really good angle to your sun sign until next September, and that planetary angle will tend to support a more outgoing, upbeat, positive frame of mind during that time, and you can be on quite a learning curve, developing yourself through education, through maybe connecting with people in a way or very different to what you're used to, or just in a different kind of a way. It's a communications orientated area. New concepts, jargons, connections will be carved into your mental landscape. You early Cancerians and Cancers born 12 to the 16th of July, or 20 to 24 degrees rising for both months, really. And then Uranus, you Cancerians born the 6th to the 9th of July, or 15 to 17 degrees rising in December, or the 6th to the 10th of July and 15 to 18. There's not a lot in it, really. It's the same sort of area for both months. And also Pluto, it moves very, very slightly, the 4th to the 6th of the July in December, and the 5th to the 7th of July. But it doesn't mean to say, you know, those outside of those dates won't be feeling this, because of course the whole sign is going to feel Uranus coming at it from Aries, and Pluto coming at it from the opposite sign, Capricorn, anyway. Degrees rising, the 13 to 16 degrees and 14 to 17 degrees in December, January, respectively. That's it for December and January. And you've heard before, if you follow this, listen to your rising sign or your moon sign. Also, the stars for the whole of 2016 are coming out very, very shortly. So you'll be hearing more about the year ahead, or maybe my sort of informed guesses about the year ahead. And also, if you want to check anything, this is written up on my website, and so will the stars for 2016. And so I wish you well over the festive season, and I'll see you the next time.